Welcome back to your workout for Thursday, April 30th. What do you have to say, Ronnie?
Ribbit.
There we go. It is a 9-minute workout with a 2-minute rest followed by another 9 minutes. It begins with 25 ring or towel rows. The more horizontal your body is, the more challenging this will be. So heels are dug in, toes up, legs locked, butt tight, abs on, and feet are together. So making sure your shoulders are packed, you pull those elbows back until the thumbs touch the rib cage. When those are done, that is it for the rows for the remainder of the 9 minutes. We're going to go to 10 floor toe sliders. The sliders work best if you have a slider, or you can use a baking sheet, or you can put your socks on a tile floor. Even a plastic plate works. So from a push-up position, you're piking your hips up and pulling your toes in as far as you can to your hands and sliding them back out again. If you don't have the option for the toe sliders, you will flip onto your back and do 10 V-ups. So arms overhead, pull that belly button down as you pike up to your sit bones, reaching for your toes. If this bothers your back, you can always bend your knees to take some of the pressure off. Then we are going to 15 back elevated glute bridges. So you will need a box or a couch or a chair, lining yourself up on that box so that it is just below the shoulder blades. Feet are underneath your shoulders. Chin is tucked and chest stays facing forward. So squeezing your butt, lifting your hips up in the air, holding for a second and bringing it back down, barely touching the ground and exploding up again. Then finally, we have 10 wide stance air squats. Wide is relative because you need to be able to get your hip crease below the level of your knee while making sure that your knees track over your toes. Ronnie has really good hip mobility, so he can stand pretty wide. And you can adjust this until you find the right stance. Well, then we get a 2-minute break, but during that 2-minute break, you have 60 seconds of planking. And that can be a combination of front plank. Let's do it on the hands first. So front, you can switch to side. And you can switch to the other side, any combination you want. If we were to do this as forearm, again, front plank or center plank, one side, and switching to the other side. After the 2 minutes, you go back to the 9 minutes, starting with your ring or towel rows and picking up where you left off. So our equipment version of this is going to be the same thing. We start with our ring or towel rows, get them done, moving on to 10 toes to rings if you do have hanging rings, or 10 floor sliders, or 10 V-ups. We've already covered those. Then we have 15 American kettlebell swings. This means that you get a giant hip hinge, like the glute bridge, but the kettlebell comes all the way overhead, abs stay engaged. At the top, the kettlebell should point towards the ceiling. There you go. And then holding onto that kettlebell, you have 10 goblet squats. You can, as a change of pace, do wide stance goblet squats if you wish. If your hip mobility does not allow you to track your knees over your toes, stay with a standard stance for your goblet squat. After the 9 minutes, you get your 2-minute rest, 60 seconds of which are your plank combination. Finish out the 2-minute rest, back up to the top with your ring rows, and pick up where you left off. Say it, Ronnie.
Ribbit.